Show you this cake. We cut a piece. You can see all the wonderful carrot, pineapple, coconut inside the cake, the chopped nuts on the outside of the cake, the frosting, moist, delicious.
Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we are making carrot cake, and the name of this cake is To Die For Carrot Cake for a reason. It is the best carrot cake that I've tried. And I've tried many recipes trying to see which one works best. And I've kind of taken a combination of several different recipes and put them together in this cake. Now, I love to have a lot of fresh ingredients in my cake, and that's why I'm using this recipe. So let's show you really quickly what's going into the cake. First of all, the spices that we're going to be using are cinnamon. We have baking powder and baking soda. We have crushed pineapple, and we have Baker's sweetened coconut. Those are some of the main ingredients, and also some salt. Eggs will go in here. We'll have up to 3 eggs, and I have 1.5, 1.25 cup of just regular canola oil. You can substitute that out for 1.25 cups of applesauce if you choose to help make it nice and moist. We're not doing that today. We're using this. Now, the other ingredients that will go in the cake that will just give it a lot of flavor and texture is we have a little over 2 cups of finely grated carrots, which I use my food processor for. If you don't have a food processor, go ahead and use a box grater to grate your carrots. That will work just fine too as well. But you would like to have a fine grater because you don't want big, huge chunks of carrot in your cake mixture. We're also putting, like I said, the crushed pineapple and also coconut, and we've got that already prepared out and ready to put in the cake. Okay, so we're going to get started over here. Nuts. I already mentioned nuts. These are 1 cup of walnuts that we're going to put in the cake, or you can leave those out if you wish and just put them on the cake, or you can use chopped pecans either. So it's all a matter of your preference. Okay, and I've already measured out here in my 2 cups of flour. I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon to give it a really strong cinnamon flavor. I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I have a whole teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to mix this up right here, right now, so that when I'm ready to put it in, it's already blended in with the flour. So it'll mix easily in with the cake, because this is a cake too that you want to not do a lot of heavy mixing. You just want to incorporate it all just as needed to incorporate it without a lot of heavy beating. That makes it a really fluffy and nice crumb on your cake. Okay, so let's get started, and I'm going to start out by putting in my 2 cups of sugar into my mixer. And I'm going to put in my 1.25 cup oil. So this is your fat and your sugar. And I'm also going to start this and then add an egg one at a time. So that we can add carefully our carrots. And you can see carrots are pretty much the main ingredient. So we've got our shredded carrots. And we have our pineapple. Notice we don't have any other like milk or water mixture in here, because the moisture from the carrots, the pineapple, and the coconut are what are going to bind this cake together. So we're going to put those 3 things in first. Okay, this is a thick mixture, and I'm going to just mix it up carefully. Okay, I prepared my pans with, actually I put cooking spray in. I also made some rounds. I buy these cake rounds already, the parchment rounds to put in here. I sprayed it again with cooking spray to make sure that when I take the cakes out of the pan, they will release carefully. So I'm just doing one last big stir on our mixture to make sure everything was incorporated evenly. And I'm going to pour half of this mixture in here. Now these are 9-inch rounds, so we're going to be baking these at about 35 to 40 minutes. It probably will take about 40 minutes with this kind of dense of a cake. The things that kind of make this cake very moist is the oil. It's going to make a very moist cake, and that's why you need to have it greased properly so that it'll release from the pan. Now, if you're looking at holidays, this is like a perfect cake for Easter. And when we're finished with this cake, I'm going to show you how to make the cream cheese frosting that will go on top of the cake. Okay, I'm going to be putting this in the oven. I'm just checking here to make sure I've got it evenly put in the pans, and it looks like it is. 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. I'll be checking the center with a toothpick to make sure it comes out clean. This is the next step of our carrot cake. Carrot cake is classic with cream cheese frosting. This is one of the easiest frostings you can make. So I'm using my Breville mixer to do this, and I already put in 8 ounces of cream cheese that I just cut into pieces so it'll be easier to mix. I'm also putting in 1 cube of unsalted butter. And then I'm going to mix this up right now. Now I'm going to add my other cup. I'm going to add 1 more cup. This should be just the perfect amount to frost our carrot cake. What it should look like. I'm going to be taking it out in just a minute and getting it prepared to do our cake. Our cake is cooling out of the oven at the moment. We're waiting for it to come completely cool before we frost it. I'm going to be chopping some nuts to put on top as well. I took the cake out of the oven at exactly 35 minutes. This is what it looked like when it was finished. It feels nice and spongy. I had to take the parchment paper off already because that kept it moist too. So I'm going to start now. This is how you frost a cake. Take this off of here. I'm going to put it down on here. Oh, what you can do is, so that it doesn't slide around on your cake platter, is just put a little bit of frosting like right in the middle, and that kind of helps it stick. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is add some icing into the middle. Now, if you like lots of icing on your cake, you can make a little bit more, maybe 1.5 times the recipe. I've done that before when I like lots of icing in the middle, because you want to be able to make sure that it's going all the way around. Okay, then I'm going to take this cake and put it right on top. That looks perfect. And the first thing you're going to do is start with the side of the cake and frost it first. Okay, now I have plenty of frosting here to go on top, and if I have a little bit more left, I'm going to go around the sides one more time as well. I wish I could make these cakes all the time, but at our age, you can't have these cakes hanging around. You need to make them for birthdays, special occasions, feed them to a lot of people, have 1 slice, and that's it. Okay, you want to make sure all the dark spots are covered. I'm taking a little bit what's left, making sure that everything is covered nicely on the sides. And on the top too. Now this cake is probably very best if you can put it in a cool place so that the cream cheese frosting can harden up with the butter a little bit. You definitely don't want to keep this in a warm space. I'm going to take this right here clean out my bowl. And finish putting it around the rest of the cake. Then we're going to be adding our nuts. Then we're just sprinkling these walnuts on top. Now, if you wanted to, you could color some coconut and put it around the edge of the cake for Easter. Some like green colored coconut. There you go, ready to serve. You might want to check one of my other cakes that I've made already on this channel, and it's my Texas sheet cake, and it is to die for. You'll love it, just like this cake is to die for. And also, the recipe is below under the Show More description, and I hope you enjoy this cake and make it for your Easter dinner playlist that we're going to be getting ready for you coming up.